Did it hurt? Birth? Yes. Next. Hello and welcome to a Q&A where today I'm going to be answering all of your juiciest questions about birth, postpartum, and becoming a new mom. Let's get into it. How many weeks old is Everett, my baby boy? He is 9 weeks old this week, which means he's 2 months. I cannot believe how fast he's growing. Here's a picture of us. He's so cute and big already. It's insane, which means I'm freaking 2 months postpartum. Crazy. The question everybody wants to know, do you want more kids? Unfortunately, my terrible pregnancy and birth experience did not stop me from wanting more. I do want another. Unfortunately, he's so cute. He's literally so freaking cute. But listen, here's the real talk. I literally cried the other day because I realized I want Everett to have siblings and I have to go through birth and pregnancy again.
That is how it works.
Yeah, I don't want to do it again, but I probably will. But I will say, I want to give it some time. I need some time to recoup from this experience. So give us 3 to 4 years.
Did you say months?
Yomi, no, I'm not pregnant. Stop it. Congrats, how are your puppies with the baby? So I have 2 dogs, Daisy and Poppy, and they are so freaking cute with him. They, however, are kind of anxious at first when he came home, especially Daisy. She just didn't know how to react. But Poppy's like, I want to be best friends with him, and she's like all up in his business and his face, and like I'm constantly having to be like, Poppy, get away from him. But they're starting to like settle in and act more normal now that he's here. But if you guys haven't already, you should make sure you're subscribed to Daisy and Poppy's channel because there's a video on there of them meeting him for the first time and it is really cute. How was your birth experience since your original birth plan wasn't what ended up happening? So for those who don't know, we originally were planning to do a birth center all in natural with a midwife, the whole shebang. And then my last trimester, I ended up getting some high blood pressure, having some complications, and we had to end up switching to a hospital. But it actually worked out really great. But I really want to answer this question in more in depth. So Yomi, I think we should save that for a full video.
I think we should save it.
So guys, make sure to subscribe and keep your eye out for an entire birth story experience. What is the best thing about Everett? Well, I think that we should answer this question with Scott and Everett. Scott, come here. I have a question I want to ask you guys.
Yes, Everett's ready to answer.
Scott's on dad duty today. It's technically his day off to hang out with him. Woo! Scott, the question is, what is the best thing about Everett?
The best thing, the noises he's making right now.
He is making so many noises.
And when he's starting to smile.
He'll try to have a conversation with you. He'll be like, ooh, ah, wah, wah. And you just go, bah, 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 back, and he makes noises.
You do, I don't do that.
Okay, well, I do. What is the best thing that you look forward to doing with Everett as a family?
Hiking.
Oh, that would not have been my answer.
Yeah. Hiking, going on adventures.
Once I'm recovered from birth, I feel like I'll be up for it. Right now, heck no. But I would say I'm looking forward to all of Everett's first, like first Christmas, first Easter,
First birthday.
First 4th of July.
First time on the plane.
But yeah, it's like everything that he does in life is his first. And it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like, what about like his first time he sees a horse?
Oh.
Like, that's gonna be so cute. Or like the first time he walks or crawls or...
Yeah.
I cry thinking about it. Okay, Scott, another question for the 3 of us. How are you, Scott, and baby boy doing? I feel like I've kind of answered that. I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting to like get recovered more and more and like wanting to, you know, work out and go out and hang out with friends and get back to somewhat of a normal life and routine. What about you?
Since about 7 weeks, he's been sleeping longer in the night. And so that's felt like a huge shift. Like, okay, wait, we're actually waking up kind of rested now. Not every day, but a lot of the days, or some of the days at least of the weeks, we're feeling actually rested. So that's a huge shift. And he's reacting to his formula well now. And so he feels actually healthy.
I didn't mention was that we figured out he has a dairy allergy. So he was like very coughy, spitty. He had like gunky red eyes and like really bad baby acne. And we realized he had a dairy allergy. So I had to cut out dairy. And then we found a good formula that works for him too. So baby boy is doing good.
He's getting tired.
Oh, he's getting sleepy. You can tell. Okay, another question I want to answer with Scott is how did you come up with Everett's name and is there a story behind it? So we're gonna do a full video where we talk about our birth story. So I don't want to go into the full thing, but I do want to give the people a little bit of an answer because they knew the whole time we were pregnant that his name was gonna start with an E. So do you want to share the names that we had picked?
Yeah, it had come down to like 3 names for us.
We liked Everett, Ezra, and Ezekiel. And then by the end, we were like, okay, his name's gonna be Ezekiel or Everett, but we wanna wait to see his face to decide. So that's why we kept calling him Baby E, is because we knew one of those two names were gonna be his. And then when he was born, we saw him, he's on our chest, and we both just looked at each other and were like, this is Everett.
Yeah,
like,
we knew.
You just know.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott, this is a question specifically for you.
Okay.
How much do you think your life has changed after becoming a father?
It's not like a transcendent experience where you're like, I see the world completely differently now. Even
Probably
though
like how I am. I feel like I've had a transcendent experience.
Oh, you do? Well, I mean, I think it's more of a gradual thing for me potentially, but I definitely do have a different outlook on a lot of subjects in life. It's just interesting living life, which I think pregnancy is a good trial run, and having dogs is a good trial run. You're not in charge of your life anymore.
Yeah.
So at least for a while, you know, can't just leave the house and go do something. Can't just leave the house and go eat.
Takes 30 minutes to leave the house.
Every single thing has to be planned now and coordinated. And so that's interesting.
Makes us communicate more, I think. This question is, how helpful has Scott been with your recovery and looking after the baby? And I want to answer with you here because I wanted to dote on you a little bit. And then also if you have any insight to share. But Scott was literally my rock star and superhero. And I truly feel like you're vulnerable when you get married, right? I feel like I've never been so vulnerable in my life as I was the week after birth with Scott helping me have to literally go to the bathroom. And I'm so grateful we had our moms, like so much of their help, because our moms really helped look after baby a lot while Scott was really looking after me.
I was focused on him and concerned about him, but I was more concerned about you, I think.
Yeah.
Probably just because I have 5 years of relationship with you and, you know, 3 days of relationship with him so far. And so I'm like really trying to make sure you don't overdo it. But your main focus, I think you're just wired to like
care for a baby.
And like not care about you sometimes not care about yourself because you're caring about him so much.
Yeah. He did a really good job of helping that. He would bring me water, like I'd have water on my nightstand. He would bring me all of my meals. Like he would help me go, you know, to the bathroom. He'd help me shower, like literally every single thing. Like I had a full-time caretaker basically from Scott.
It's tough. Like we don't plan on doing it for a little while again.
Yeah.
Because it's really tough.
It was very tough. But you know, they always say the first is the hardest. And I feel like I've always heard people say in the hospital, they're like, you look at each other and you're like, oh, we need to do this again. And it was the next day us looking at each other in the hospital like, we never want to do that again.
I think the first time that moment came was like 3 weeks in.
Yeah, it was when
like,
he started.
We could do this again.
It started when he was really cute. But the first few days in the hospital, we were like, never.
I don't even.
One and done. But now like all of that's starting to wear off and he's really cute and smiles and we're like, aw.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I am going to keep filming. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Back to my questions. Do you get to be a fellow stay-at-home mom? I kind of do. So YouTube is my full-time job, which praise God, I have a lot of flexibility with it. So what's working right now for me and Scott that we've decided to do is that I stay home with him 4 days a week and then 1 day a week Scott stays home with him. And then that gives me a full day to go in the office, to film videos like this. And then throughout the week, I just get to vlog with him or make TikToks and Instagram posts and silly things. So honestly, it's all because of you guys, my viewers. I want to thank y'all so much for being in this whole pregnancy journey with us because it's given me a lot of flexibility and viewership to just be able to continue to do, you know, mom life, but as a YouTuber. So I get to be at home most days, which is really fun because I get to watch him grow and see him do things and go to parks and have fun. Have you had trouble breastfeeding? So my breastfeeding journey has been totally crazy. I really didn't have any expectations at all going into it. I was like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go into it. If it works, if it doesn't, then whatever. And what ended up kind of happening was the first week I wasn't producing milk at all. So we ended up having to put him on formula and bottles, which was working fine. And I was trying to like use pumps and stuff to get milk, and it just was not working for me, and I just had a really low supply, and it was kind of killing my mental health because I was trying to like be super consistent with it to build a supply up, and it just wasn't doing anything. So I was like, all right, screw this, we're done. We're just gonna formula feed because in my opinion, fed is best. So my baby's being fed and he's growing and he's happy and healthy. But actually about 4 weeks into him being here, we took him to the pediatrician and they're like, hey, he has a really intense lip tie. So they're like, take him to a dentist to get it checked out. We take him to the dentist and he has the worst grade lip tie possible. So he ended up having to have a surgery on his mouth, like a really small procedure at 4 weeks old, poor buddy. And it took him about a week or so to recover. But during that time frame, all of a sudden he was able to breastfeed feed and latch. So it just like completely changed how he was able to feed. Even on his bottles, he was eating better and just feeling better, and it was just so crazy. So once he was able to start breastfeeding, then my supply all of a sudden went up. So we had already kind of got him adjusted to formula and stuff, but it ended up working really good because now we kind of do a mix of both, where I still have a low supply because I didn't have the best start. I give him what I can, and then the rest of the time he's formula fed, which has been really great for me because it gives me the ease to be able to go have long days at work and things like that if needed. So it's been a crazy journey. Any moms out there who have had experience with this, I feel you. There's just so much with breastfeeding. I cannot even just describe it all. There's just like so many feelings and emotions surrounding it. But I finally feel like we found what's working for us. What color are Everett's eyes? So when he was born, I didn't know this. Baby's eyes are gray. But then as time goes by, their eyes develop color. So they're starting to be brown. But they could change, who knows. But I think they're gonna be brown because I have my song Brown Eyes, duh. I just feel like it's just meant to be that Brown Eyes might be his song too. How has postpartum been for you from when it first started until now? I will say the first 2 weeks were definitely the hardest because I was physically in a lot of pain. That was something that I felt like no one really shared with me, was just how much like physically I would be unable to do anything the first few days. I could not even get out of bed by myself. I couldn't pick him up out of his bassinet. I was down for the count. So that was really difficult the first week because you're trying to adjust to becoming a parent and taking care of a newborn while recovering from this insanely hard physical experience. And then emotionally, like your hormones are dropping and it's just like you feel so bad. So the first week or two, I was so sad. Definitely had like what I would consider like baby blues, and just like I seriously cried over Chick-fil-A sauce spilling on my shirt in the backseat of the car on the way home from his first pediatrician appointment. I had an entire panic attack meltdown over Chick-fil-A spilling. However, 2 months in now, I'm feeling so much better and so much more just like myself. You know, a lot of women really struggle with anxiety and depression during postpartum, which can be so difficult and hard. Thankfully, I truly feel like I have had a really easy postpartum experience, which I know is not the case for everybody, but I'm very grateful that because I had such an incredibly hard pregnancy that I've just gotten a little bit of a break. Honestly, like my hormones are pretty balanced now and I'm just kind of like really truly enjoying life again, and I'm not pregnant. So to answer your question, now I'm feeling good. Honestly, truly, I feel good. I have little bouts of like postpartum anxiety pop up, but I feel like it's pretty much just like normal mom worrying. What's the biggest surprise you had postpartum that you hadn't heard about? Number one, hunger. Insane hunger 24/7. People talk about pregnancy hunger, but I don't hear nobody talking about postpartum hunger, because when you're breastfeeding, you're burning 500 to 700 freaking calories a day and your body's trying to make up for that. So I am eating more now than I was when I was pregnant because I am starving. And the first night in the hospital, I was ravenous. I was like, I need food now, and there was nothing in the hospital room, and I'm like door dashing things at like 2 a.m. The hospital had like a kitchen. I called them. I had them bring an entire fruit platter to my room at 3 in the morning, and I ate the entire thing by myself in the middle of the night. Your body's got to replenish itself. It's going through a lot, girl. Postpartum night sweats, if I want to get real and honest.
What?
Sweating so bad all the time. And even now, like not even in the middle of the night, like right now I'm sweating. But your hormones are crazy after birth and your body's trying to readjust. That was a fun surprise. Like I said, recovery, I mean, people can say that postpartum recovery is hard, but I just feel like no one really truly talked about the depth of how difficult it is to just birth a child and recover your body while caring for a newborn. Okay, if you're a mom, I need you to comment down below, what is something that you did not expect after having a baby? Because this was tough. Has the birth affected you in any way? Have you developed a routine yet? And how good of a sleeper is Everett? So this is like a 3-in-1. So has birth affected me in any way? Birth has affected me in the sense of I feel like I am superwoman and I can do anything and go through anything physically, because that was the most insane physical experience of my entire life. And I feel like I look at every other mom ever and I'm like, you are superwoman. Especially moms that have multiple kids, I'm like, how? I truly do feel like I just can conquer anything. Like I sprained my knee and my ankle last week when I was at the gym, which that's a whole other side story. It was really painful, but at the same time, I was like, this is not anywhere near birth. Have you developed a routine yet? So I feel like we're starting just now to have a routine, except he's decided to throw the routine off. I feel like every 2 weeks he goes through a growth spurt and it changes our routine. Like as soon as I start to be like, okay, we've got it down. This is his nap time. This is what time he goes to bed at night. It completely shifts and changes. I feel like that's just gonna continually change with a kid. But in the sense of like me and Scott, like we're starting to get in a routine of what works for us, like, you know, making dinner and cooking and, you know, cleaning the house and like starting to go back to work and things like that. But as for Everett, no. Is he a good sleeper? And have you coped with him waking up in the middle of the night yet? So I think we got really lucky with Everett because he does love to sleep. He takes really good naps during the day. He fights going to sleep really hard at night, but when he does, he's already sleeping basically like a good 6-7 hour stretch at night. And then he wakes up for feeding and then wakes up again in the morning. So really only waking up 1 to 2 times in the middle of the night, which is such a lifesaver because the first few weeks, waking up every 2 hours, not it. I'm grateful because I'm now finally starting to get a solid 6 to 7 hours a night compared to like an hour. What is the hardest part of having a newborn? First of all, it is adjusting to running on no sleep. Like you just have to learn how to function on such a low amount of sleep, but your body does adjust. It's crazy. Like your body does pretty quickly just recognize we have to live like this. The other thing that has been really hard is learning how to multitask times a billion. Your brain is constantly thinking of what's the next step in life, like to get to, because you have to just be prepared for those things. It's like, okay, Buddy's taking a nap right now, which means I need to have his bottle ready because he's gonna wake up in 5 minutes and the bottle needs to be ready and needs to be warm before he gets up. But before he gets up, I need to make sure I brush my teeth. So I've got to brush my teeth first and then do this. And it's just like a series of events that you're constantly planning in your head of like, okay, but before I do this, I have to do this. And before I can do this, I have to do this. And it's just like constantly making sure those are getting done. And it's an insane mental load all day, every single day. And not just an aspect of baby, it's about work, life, family.
Were you like this before, or did you?
I feel like I was to a sense, but there's just like a whole nother level added when you are the sole provider of a child. It's like, okay, in order for me to eat or do my hair or makeup or do anything for myself today, 20 different things have to be lined up and the stars have to be aligned. And then the other hardest part I would say is just truly just adjusting to a whole new routine and lifestyle overnight. Like I cannot even just explain how it just feels to just have your entire world shifted in one night. And now it's like my job is to keep this human alive and somehow function and heal my own body and self and take care of our family and our house and everything. It's just like so much, but it's a joy. It truly is, but it is a lot. I'll be honest. Question, thinking about your past self, did you ever think you'd be right here, right now, holding a baby? No. I did not want to get married until I was like 30. And that was what I had always thought growing up. Like I always thought I would get married later in life because my goals personally were to make music, write albums, you know, maybe even move to LA, get in the music industry, go on tour. Clearly I'm living a very different lifestyle than I had expected. I didn't expect to become a YouTuber and an influencer. I also did not expect to meet my husband at 19 years old. And God told us to get married when I was 21. So my life is completely different than what I thought, but so much more beautiful than I thought it would be. But with that being said, I always thought I would have kids later in life. And even when Scott and I got married, we had always said like 3 to 5 years before we started talking about kids. And we got pregnant 2.5 years into marriage. So it was a little sooner than I think we had planned or expected, but it was obviously God's perfect timing. And I can't imagine not having Everett now. Like he's just part of my life now. Like it's just so crazy. I'm very scared of pregnancy, so maybe tell me the hardest thing to do and the easiest thing to do. The hardest thing about me for pregnancy was watching my body continually change every single day and not being able to do anything to stop it or help it if you're going through really hard pregnancy. Like for me, I had hypermesis, so I was throwing up all day, every single day until I was throwing up in labor. I mean, that's how long I was throwing up in pregnancy. And then as well as in the last trimester, being put on bed rest because of high blood pressure, there was just nothing I could do to help my body. I just had to watch it continually just deteriorate in a way. I know that it was all for Everett and I know that it all had a purpose and a plan, but it was really hard watching that happen without knowing the love I would have for Everett. And so I did feel like daily, like, dang, this is really hard to go through because I don't know what's on the other side. Where now, postpartum, I am going through such a hard season, but I would say it's so much more joyful to me than pregnancy, because pregnancy, like I said, I didn't know what was on the other side. There's so much more purpose in it because I wake up every single day and I see his face and I know the love that I have for him. And so for me, postpartum has been a much more joyful, beautiful, peaceful experience than pregnancy was. The easiest thing is learning to love your baby. It's like just the coolest thing in the world, just like seeing something you made and being like, wow, you're part of my family, my life, and I love you now. How tall do you think Everett will be? So he's super, super long. I mean, he's 2 months old and he's already in 6 to 9 month clothing, and not really necessarily because of his weight, but because of his height. Like, he is so long. So I think he's really tall. Scott's 6 foot, so his dad's got it, and we have a lot of tall people in our family. I unfortunately am short, 5'5", baby. What was the most unexpected thing you learned about yourself as a new mom? You know what, if we're really getting deep, it's that like I actually feel like I've learned I'm actually kind of selfish. Like, I never really used that term for myself. Like, I mean, who wants to say you're selfish? Who wants to say that they're selfish themselves? But now, having a being that I have to constantly be selfless for, I've realized how inherently selfish we are, which we are without Christ. You know, we are so selfish, which is why we have to lay that down to Jesus every single day and give that to him. But I'm having to learn that a lot more than I ever thought I would, because when it was just me and Scott, I could go do whatever I wanted and do whatever I felt, and there wasn't any consequences or anything. And now it's like I have a child to take care of. I have a being, I have a human that we are solely providing for, and I can't just go do whatever I want. I have to do what's best for him. And now I'm having to just focus solely on what this child needs. And so it's been really cool because it's allowed me to see the Lord in a new way and how the Lord loves us, and just learn about myself that, wow, I really need to give this over to God more and be more willing to just walk more like Christ. How messy is your house, or is it still clean? Yomi, why don't you just show them the pile of
I didn't want to. I didn't
stuff.
want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
There's just stuff all over our house.
I didn't want to do it.
And this is probably our cleanest room.
I cleaned it though.
Yeah, Yomi cleaned it. You don't have time. You have to make a choice every single day. Am I going to eat today? Am I going to get ready today? Am I going to clean today? Am I going to do some laundry today? Because you only get a choice to pick one. You can't do them all. A lot of times cleaning the house gets put on the back burner. Thank God for grandmas, because they come, they clean my house, and they do my laundry. And you know what else is great? I will say to any other moms, go find a good fluff and fold. Go find a good dry cleaner near your house. Take all of your laundry. It's worth it, okay? That's all I gotta say. What's the most rewarding thing you didn't think would be that rewarding? Getting anything done with a baby seems incredibly impossible. So doing something with a baby feels so rewarding. Putting my makeup on in the morning, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. I worked out yesterday and I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. On another note, it is seeing Everett grow and smile and hit all these milestones. It's like I'm taking care of you. Like, I'm just helping this baby grow, and I get to see the fruit of that reward when he's hitting these milestones. Like, he just started smiling and he's about to start rolling over, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm helping him do that. What did you feel when you first held him? I was honestly so out of it during birth, which I'll talk about in our birth story video that's gonna be coming out soon. But when I just finally felt the relief and saw him being lifted up, it was just like overwhelming emotions of everything, of excitement, joy, fear, worry, everything, because it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the moment, this is here, but now we have to take care of a kid, and like, but here he is, what does he look like? Oh my gosh, it was just like every question you could ever ask yourself. And then they placed him on your chest, and it was just like, me and Scott just looked at each other and we just cried. It just felt like this rewarding sense of, oh my gosh, we made it. Is your channel going to be a family-based channel? So right now, my game plan is to continue just to make vlogs. You guys have been a part of our journey and watched this whole pregnancy, so I really want y'all to just get to continue to watch right now. Like, definitely much more low-key videos, and they may not be every single week, but I do want to continue to post as much content as I can. My goal is hopefully next year to go back to kind of more of those bigger style videos, but right now we're just gonna do what I can, which is more chill, low-key vlogs. So I hope you guys enjoy my life and getting to be involved in it more. As for content with Everett, right now while he's young, I'm comfortable having him in content because he's a baby. His face is gonna change so much in the next few years. But as he grows up and gets older and goes to school and things like that, and he can make the choice whether he wants to be in content, we're gonna respect that. So if he wants to be in videos, then he will. And if he makes the choice that he doesn't want to be on the internet, then we'll respect that choice. How do you incorporate God in your family now that you have a new baby? I feel like I understand the Lord in a new way now because God is our Father and He loves us. We're His children. And now that I have a child, I get to understand the love that a parent has for a child. And so I'm understanding more and more of how the Father loves us and how I would do anything for Everett. And I would love him so much, and I would lay my life down, and I would, just forget anything about myself and give up selfishness and just want to love him and take care of him. And now I'm just seeing more and more of how God loves us. And so it's been really cool to like let that seep into my life and see how much God truly loves us and how much. I'm just gonna get emotional talking about it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Everett is my child here on earth, but really he's the Lord's child, and He's gonna take care of him. Are you happy to be a mom? Yes. I feel like I have found so much joy and so much purpose in being a mom, and it's something I can't even explain or describe, but it's just like I look at him and it's just like, wow, like I was meant to be your mom and you were meant to be my kid. Like it just is just this soul connection that you truly cannot describe until you experience it for yourself. But every day I wake up and I just feel like I have so much purpose. I love it. He's the best ever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more mom content, make sure to subscribe and watch one of these 2 videos. Bye!